Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I was just watching this program on Channel 4 called To Catch a Killer. What was the actual full title? The Search for Natalie Hemming. And it's a sad case. And it just got me thinking about why is it that, well, I was going to actually play you the end, then you can hear a little bit about what it was about, then I'll talk about it.
A jury at Luton Crown Court is considering its verdict in the case of Milton Keynes man Paul Hemming, who pleads not guilty to murdering his partner Natalie at their home in East in May. Her body was discovered in Woodland at Chances Cross in Hertfordshire.
I can't even talk. I'm just so glad we got justice for Natalie and for her kids and for Margaret.
That's the outcome we wanted. That's what we wanted. We wanted him to be found guilty of murder, not manslaughter.
I'll see you Monday. All right, mate.
The jury's concluded that Paul Hemming is guilty of Natalie's murder. He killed her in the home address in Milton Keynes on the 1st of May of this year. This act followed episodes of domestic abuse experienced by Natalie at Paul's hands, and his actions have left 3 children to grow up without their mother. Natalie's family have shown tremendous support for the police investigation, and I would like to praise their dignity they have shown throughout this trial. Paul Hemming is a cold and calculating killer. The jury heard that Natalie was planning to leave Paul, and he believed that if he could not have Natalie, no one else could. Natalie's brother Stephen would like to say some words.
This verdict will not bring Natalie back or ease our pain, but it will bring some closure and allow all to start the process of moving on in our lives. It would also mean a manipulative, controlling and violent man will in a place where he can't harm others like he did Natalie. We hope that if any good comes out of Natalie's death, then it should be that it raises the awareness of domestic violence and what can happen when people remain with violent and controlling partners. If just one person leaves such a relationship, then Natalie's death will not be in vain. Thank you.
So that's he got a life sentence for it. But yeah, it was just making me think, so why would I know this is just one case out of many, well, it's probably millions of deaths since time began, since man began, since Cain and Abel, if you want to go religious route. Killing one another, why do we do it? And then I was thinking about, that I'm always talking about the change of the system that we live within, and if we didn't have money and if we didn't have certain institutions and we didn't live just to make ourselves rich or get trinkets or the system that we live within, if we replaced it with a system that didn't have money, that where we acknowledge that we're all brothers and sisters of each other because we're all one race, we're all one human being, and whether life would be better because we wouldn't have money, we wouldn't have this need for producing things unnecessarily, we wouldn't have waste, people would live, with everyone would have a home because there is that facility, because there's enough land for everyone to have a home, and there's enough people to build homes for everyone. There's enough food on this planet for, I think it's 70 billion people, I think was the estimate, based on resources that we have here. And we've only got, 7 or 8 billion people on this place that we live. So we have all that, and then I was thinking, well, how would we solve these kinds of things? Would, if you had a world like that, where there was no money, where there wasn't that pressure, where there wasn't, where we were brought up to live in truth rather than the lies that we live within, that we don't even realise they're lies. And that's not a conspiracy theory. I hate using that word. But what I'm trying to say is that would it solve these kinds of things? Would this still happen? Would crime still happen? I mean, a lot of crime, not domestic violence, but a lot of other crimes are due to the pursuit of drugs or the pursuit of money. And a lot of the pursuit of drugs is because of the world that we live in, because people don't have what they want, and when they take drugs they feel better. So maybe that kind of crime would be alleviated by everyone having their own home, not having to worry about money, not having to worry about how they're going to get insurance for medicines in certain countries and all that kind of stuff. We wouldn't need to, everyone could have whatever they wanted. They could have the equal same life everyone could have. They wouldn't have to worry that, I can't have this holiday, or I can't have that yacht or whatever, because everyone would be able to just get whatever they wanted. And yes, I know that sounds like utopia, but my belief is that we do live in a free world, and we are born free, but we just shackle ourselves by just living in the system that our forefathers have created for us, and thinking that we can't change it, or that it's too difficult to change. So yeah, that may be solved by the system, but would the crimes of love and the crimes of passion, if you want to call that what that was, or the crime when one person will kill another person because they dislike them, that I don't think will ever stop, because we've had, since man has been civilized, let's say, we've lived many different systems, feudal systems, sheriff systems, different, the system that we live now is not the same as it was 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years before that. They've been completely different. I'm sure there were systems where we didn't have money. Maybe the system that I talk about has already failed. I don't know. But I guess it wouldn't solve those kinds of things but I don't know. But the thing is, my mind can only think in the way that it's been taught, and it's been taught greed. It's been taught, possession, by Christmas and things like that, giving presents, the importance of birthdays, the importance of self, and all that. And I'm not saying some of those things aren't important, but of course, my brain can only think in the way that my brain has been programmed, like everyone else's. And so we've been brought up in the system, and so it's difficult for us to see outside that system. It's a bit like you're born into a religion. Once you're born into a religion, you grow up, say, being Christian or Muslim, whatever, then you can't see past that. If someone tries and tells you this, that and the other, you won't be able to see it because you've been brought up. That's the same as all of us when we've been brought in this system that we live in of law and order, of democracy and this, that and the other. I'm not saying that some of these things aren't important, because often people knock the police, but if you see in this case where the police, without them, who would have solved that murder? Who would have put that man to justice? Of course, I suppose some might argue, there has to be justice, doesn't there? There can't be, you can't just forgive someone for taking someone's life. That would be too charitable, wouldn't it? And then that person might go on to do it again. So without that kind of thing, how do we stop it? But what I'm trying to say is that if we change the system that we live in, the way that we're all taught in the beginning, would we be able to eradicate those kinds of crimes of passion, those people that want to, or get fun out of, or don't have is it a mental issue? And is that because of the world that we've been brought up in, that chips away at their brains and then makes these people like that? I guess that's a nature versus nurture argument. I don't know. So I don't know whether what I do know is if we lived in a better system where we didn't have to worry about money, where everyone could have equal lives, equal and fair lives, which I think we all should actually have. I don't see any argument to say that we shouldn't have that. And I don't think if you asked everyone, everyone would agree on that. But then no one will do anything to change the way that we live that stops us from being able to achieve that. But even if it didn't solve 100% of the murders of crimes of passion or people that don't like each other, or you're always going to get good and bad people, I assume. I assume that's impossible to eradicate because people are different and different mindsets. I guess again, I don't know, because it depends on the system that we live in. Is it nature versus nurture? I don't know. But it would, I assume, eradicate some. I assume it would reduce murders lower. It maybe some people, when they lose when somebody, in this case where that they find someone else instead of them, maybe they wouldn't want to kill that person. They would just move on to another person. Maybe they wouldn't have all that jealousy or control issues. Maybe those control issues came from a broken family, and that broken family became because of money issues or drug issues or this, that and the other, caused by the system that we live in. So it may solve that problem, I don't know. But what I suppose I do know, because that's what I was thinking about this program, it made me think about whether that, the idea of changing the system would solve these things. Because it made me sad to see this. Why would this man do this? Why would he kill his wife? Why would he kill another life? Why would he do that? If he loved this person, why? Why would he, he had children, 3 children, who, there was an account where the boy said he came down after hearing a loud bang, like thunder, and he peeked through the door and he saw Mummy as if she was being sick. And then he said, Daddy removed the red carpet, took it to work to clean it. I mean, it made me so sad, I can feel it now, making me feel so sad that someone could do such a thing. And that someone in their right mind, if they, say if that person was crazy and then they woke up from being crazy and then they realised what they'd done, how horrified they'd be to think that they took another person's life, the only existence that they're ever going to have, and they denied these poor children the love of their mother and father. So it made me question whether my idea of changing the world that we live in would solve these things. And maybe not everything can be solved, but what I do know is the way that we do live is definitely a contributing factor to the misery and suffering of people's lives. And so I suppose it's better to try something different if the one that if there's one person suffering, whether it's from poverty, whether it's from not being able to get medicines because people don't share them around the world, then, or us all worrying about taking medicines, the anti-vax movement worried about taking medicines, but which may actually be beneficial to people, which probably are beneficial. I can't really say because I don't have a science background to be able to confirm what they say does what it says on the tin, as it were. But let's just say that there is, and anti-vaxxers are scared of that because of the trust issues that, from Primodos, from, the Andrew Wakefield autism, and all the trust issues from governments and pharmaceutical companies, because they control the likes of MHRA and etc., have big funding in all these things. Money is the big problem, and power and control being corrupt. But then also the other thing I want to talk about was also this idea of domestic violence. It made me feel so sad to see that people, men and women, mostly women, living with these issues and too scared to leave. And like the brother of that dead sister was saying that if anyone's in an abusive relationship, they should leave it because you don't know what the outcome may be. I don't know what the statistics are. I mean, statistics doesn't really matter, but why would someone stay? But then, of course, someone may stay because they had 3 children with that man, and they did it for the children, because that's what a lot of parents do. But it just seems so sad that we have to live in this kind of world where we hate each other so much, where we could ever contemplate taking another human being's life, like it says in the Holy Quran, that taking one person's life is like taking all of mankind's life. It just seems... I can't believe that. Well, obviously I can, because I've lived in this world and I've seen with my own eyes what happens. But it's just why do we live in a world where we want to kill each other? whether it's war, whether it's crimes of passion, whether whatever the reason is. Take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.